Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're looking at just 11 simple words, but we aren't looking at them as, say, poetry or just some feel-good motivation. No, we're going to examine this extraordinarily brief source text through a much sharper lens, the rigorous world of actuarial science and risk management. Looking at this through the eyes of someone who has spent 30 years calculating human risk, well, these 11 words aren't just a catchy quote. They are a fundamental axiom. It's literally a robust algorithm for operating under uncertainty, and it models the absolute mathematical certainty of compounding impacts. Okay, let's dive into this. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. Just sit with the architecture of that for a second. The stark minimalism here isn't just a stylistic choice. It's an incredibly efficient risk model. We have a conditional input, and it's followed immediately by a deterministic output. There's no fluff, no excess data required. It operates as a totally perfect algorithm for human behavior in the face of the unknown. Section 1. The conditional mindset. The setup. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how perfectly it captures the core tension of actuarial science. In the first half, carrying the bulk of the proposition, we have the realm of probability and uncertainty. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It's a hypothetical model, right? But then, carrying immense structural weight, we have the anchor. It does. This completely balances the weight of unknown probabilities, the stuff you're asked to just assume, against absolute, undeniable facts. Let's zero in on those first three vital words. Act as if. Listen, in 30 years of actuarial science and risk management, operating under a conditional assumption is exactly how you model expected value. You almost never have perfect information. If you wait around for absolute certainty before making a move, well, the model fails. To act as if means you have to manufacture the data point through your own action first. The text demands that you input your behavior into the equation way before the final probability is even calculated. Section 2. The action imperative. Kinetic energy. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how that expected value is actually generated. Act, do, makes. These aren't just your standard verbs. They are the active inputs in a kinetic system. Think of them like dominoes falling. In any rigorous risk assessment, if you have a system with zero active input, the probability of change remains exactly zero. The quote completely relies on these inputs to drive the momentum forward. It mathematically guarantees that a conditional mindset, without physical, tangible effort, just yields a zero-sum result. So what is the ultimate destination of those active inputs? A difference. In mathematical terms, we call this the delta, the variance. In human behavior, just like in compound interest or risk accumulation, no action is ever entirely neutral. The source text doesn't explicitly assign a positive or negative value to this difference, but it definitely establishes a hard rule. The delta is real. The measurable, compounding human impact that ripples outward over time is the unyielding output of those active inputs combining in reality. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 3, the affirmation of reality, the definitive payoff. It does. So the crucial point is how this absolute affirmation abruptly shifts us from mere probability right over to 100% certainty. From a risk management perspective spanning decades, the data is overwhelmingly clear. Human action always generates an outcome. The hypothetical, as if part, that was really just the mechanism to get you calculating. The final two words establish a deterministic reality. Your actions already have impact, effectively closing the equation with total mathematical finality. Which brings us to the final variable derived directly from this 11-word equation. Are you acting as if? Because every single day, mathematically and practically, your personal ledger is continuously being updated by your inputs. We've seen the algorithm. We know the kinetic energy is real. The text has firmly established that a compounding impact is a guaranteed, absolute mathematical certainty. The only unresolved variable left in the model is you. So what exact difference are you modeling today?